Hello and welcome to another planning appeal case study video. I'm John Peters, and in this video I'm going to explain how we overcame a recent refusal by Ealing Council for one of our clients. This planning appeal was to overcome the refusal for an Air BnB planning appeal that was refused by the local authority Ealing Planning Department. Our client was initially booked in for a free no obligation consultation to run through the refusal reasons that had been used by Ealing Council and to evaluate if an appeal was viable or if an alternative option would be best suited for them. The free no obligation consultation, which took around about 20 minutes, found that this case was viable for appeal to the Planning Inspectorate, taking the decision process away from Ealing Council Planning Department. This case was refused by Ealing Council for the following reasons. The proposed change of use by reason of its significant addition and comings and goings would give rise to an unacceptable nuisance, safety concerns and loss of privacy at neighbouring properties, to the detrimental effect of the residential amenities to the occupants of the neighbouring properties. This type of appeal is something we never used to see, but more recently we've had a number of inquiries relating to this type of application refusal, for short-term letting that is. To date, many people decide to produce their own appeals for these types of short-term letting application refusals, not realising the implications to their business model when they lose. I say when they lose, as the amount of calls we have from people who decided to complete their very own appeal and not take us up on our offer to handle the appeal for them. Many at that point ask us what they can do now they've lost their appeal. Unfortunately, as the vast majority of these types of cases for the applications are retrospective, and they've received an enforcement notice telling them to stop the use because of the breach of planning control after the appeal is dismissed. This means then they cannot reapply, as the council will section 70C any further applications and refuse to determine them because of an enforcement notice has been served. This results in the property having to revert back to its previous use. In many cases, that's a buy-to-let at a greatly reduced income for the owner. We've seen recently a number of these types of applications be refused in various areas. Although this can be permitted development, sometimes they are not, and that can be for several reasons. With these cases, I would recommend an assessment of the refusal reasons for the appeal, as often the refusals are weak or justification can be made to overcome and gain a permission. As with this case, the argument needed is often substantial and varied to achieve a positive outcome, and the depth of the application statement in relation to reasons and policies supplied will directly affect the amount of work needed at appeal. Unfortunately, for some reason, the vast number of planning refusals we see of this type of case have no application statement supplied with them. As such, the application was not able to assist the planning officer with making a positive decision. We can always deal with this at appeal, but it takes longer and costs more. We always recommend a planning application statement is submitted with these types of applications. With planning appeals, experience matters. Our specialist appeals team, who handle over 2.5% of all planning appeals in England and Wales that are currently produced and submitted, start by producing a comprehensive and robust appeals statement that in this specific case covered 24 pages, and that was just over 6,300 words. It's important to detail in the appeal statement where the local authority failed in their assessment of the case and how, where possible, both local and national policy applies in favour of the appeal. Additionally, if possible, bring in similar cases in the Planning Inspectorate found in the favour of. Obviously, with the back catalogue we have of wins, we're able to use these cases and what the inspector said in them as additional argument to support the case we're working on. Once an appeal statement is completed, we send the document to our client, asking them to check that they're happy for us to submit the case. If we need to add any additional information that the client may have forgotten previously to supply, it's done at this point and the case is then submitted. It is vitally important that all the documents and responses are submitted on time throughout the process, as failure to do so will result in the appeal not being successful, something we hear about often when people attempt an appeal for the first time. Always ensure you use a professional who has considerable experience of appeals. It is worth asking them for some recent successful planning appeal case studies like you find on our website. Due to the large number of cases we represent, we have a dedicated team that liaises with the Planning Inspectorate on a daily basis. For this appeal, an independent planning inspector from the Planning Inspectorate visited the site on the 19th of August, and we are pleased to confirm that the appeal was upheld and the permission granted on the 3rd of September in a 3-page appeal decision notice. If you'd like to find out if we can help you with your planning appeal, complete our online form on our website www.planningappealsuk.com, and our UK support team will arrange for a free, no obligation consultation with one of our planning appeal assessment professionals. Would you like to find an appeal case study for a certain type of application or even in a selected area? We have so many and not all of them are published or filmed, but that does not mean we can't show you what you're looking for. Ask our planning appeal assessment professional during your free no obligation consultation. Thank you for taking the time to watch this planning appeal case study video, and I look forward to producing another one very shortly. Thanks a lot. Bye.